Hey, what's up guys, it's Deathstalker Sneaker here with another Helldivers video. As many of you may know, this one isn't a new one, it's actually a revision of my original 21 tips for Helldivers video, which is over 9 months old. While the information isn't outdated, I have made some changes and additions thanks to a more extensive experience with Helldivers. I also wanted to improve the quality of the video. The original video was one of my first, and in hindsight, it's a pretty shitty video, especially compared to much newer ones. Commentary, video length, and the editing has improved since then, and as such, I will be remaking the video. But enough of that, let's go ahead and get started. Number 1. Taking out enemy assets. One of the objectives that each of the alien races in Helldivers has is to destroy a race-specific strategic structure. There's the Bug's Nest, Cyborg AA guns, and the Illuminate beacons. Though Helldivers only teach you how to destroy the Bug's Nest, which is the easiest. The Cyborg AA guns require you to first shut down the guns via a large console nearby. Only then will you be able to call in stratagems like the Hell Bomb. While the Illuminates require you first to neutralize the shields protecting their beacons. This can be done with weapons, explosives, or other stratagems. When they're down, activate the Hell Bomb and get moving. Act quick because the shield will restore themselves after time. Number 2. One-handed weapons. One-handed weapons like the SMGs and Double Freedom Shotgun have a neat little perk called One-Handed, which does exactly as it sounds. The weapons can be wielded using only one hand. This means that if you're carrying an objective like the briefcase or down bleeding out, you can still use the weapon rather than having to switch to your sidearm. Number 3. Falling off the map. I know this one is a silly one, but it must be said. I myself was curious when the game first launched, so I tested it out, and yes, you can fall off the map. Fall into pits and or cliffs is very possible, so pay close attention to your steps, especially on snow planets, as it can sometimes be difficult to see the small pools of water or the endless pits. Number 4. Going prone. Prone isn't as useless as it seems. For one, while you're prone, both enemy and friendly fire will pass over you. This is perfect for crossing a turret's line of fire or a tricky happy recruit. It's also a lifesaver should you find yourself on fire. By going prone, you immediately put out the flames. Just keep in mind that you can't fire your gun while you're prone, and you're still vulnerable to melee attacks. Number 5. Conserving ammo. Ammunition is easily exhausted in Helldivers, so aim and conservation is a necessity. While you have an awesome primary and the trusty sidearm, don't forget you can also melee enemies. This is very useful against light infantry and scouts found at the lower level, as in many of them aren't worth the shot. Number 6. Resupplying at mission start. One of the greatest misunderstandings is that Helldivers start with all their ammo. While you do have a good amount of it, you should drop a resupply stratagem at mission start to max out your ammo. You only need one pack of the 2 that are dropped, so be sure to share one with a squad mate. Number 7. Don't throw teammates. Honestly, this is one of the worst things you can do. Hellpods do kill and destroy anything they land on, but this is a terrible idea. In fact, one of the worst. Remember, you're putting your teammates in the worst location to spawn, where they now have to either escape the enemies that are left over, or fight their way through. Their chances of survival are slim, and that's not considered if the rest of the squad is running in the other direction. The risk is far greater than the reward, and trust me, you don't want to be the one when that happens to you. Number 8. Beware screen pulling. In Helldivers, everyone shares the same screen, so you should keep this in mind when you're trying to move on. I've seen countless players die because one player wanted to run in a particular direction and the others couldn't see the dangers just beyond the edge of the screen. Though this goes both ways. Should you see another player run in the opposite direction of the squad, he or she probably has a good reason. They may have just dropped a stratagem or seen a research sample, or maybe they want to retrieve their gear from their last death. Number 9. Caution when landing near objectives. Right before you start a mission, you're given the chance to choose the drop zone. This is exactly where you'll spawn on the map, which is good for planning and prioritizing objectives, but what's to stop you from dropping directly on objectives? Nothing actually. If you do choose to, you can drop right on an objective, but you should know that the closer you are to an objective, the more patrols there are. So dropping right on an objective on a high difficulty can leave you unprepared and swarmed by enemies in no time at all. Number 10. Use your map or radar. One of the greatest features of the minimap is the radar ping. While the map is active, every couple of seconds a small ping will resonate, revealing all enemy patrols in the vicinity. The ping is small but very useful, especially when trying to stealth a mission. It's also worth noting that the Humblebee UAV drone can increase the size of this ping. Number 11. Stratagem beacons attract patrols. You know those large beams of light projected from your stratagem beacons? You're not the only one that can see that. Nearby enemy patrols are also attracted to these. I won't say don't use your stratagems, but be on your guard when you do deploy them, especially when you deploy multiple. Number 12. Bring in duplicate stratagems. In case this never crossed your mind, you can bring multiple of a single stratagem. For example, do you want to bring 4 fully upgraded mechs for the entire squad? You can. When selecting your stratagem loadout, you can bring as many of a single stratagem as you want. Just know while it may sound like a good idea, running 4 mechs isn't a great idea. It will work in some cases, but depending on your enemy, difficulty, and mission objectives, you'll want flexibility over a single stratagem. Number 13, planet environment types. Be mindful of the type of planet you're deploying on. The environment isn't just for aesthetics. Currently, there are 4 variations of planetary environments: volcanic, forest, snow, and desert. Each one affects the way the maps are procedurally generated. For example, forest maps are usually narrow connected paths, while desert maps have large wide open spaces. Forest maps also have murky deep water that'll slow your Helldiver's movements. Snow maps work the same way, but instead are covered in entirely deep snow, which will also slow down your Helldivers. While volcanic maps have areas where molten hot lava can spew out and set the Helldiver on fire. Number 14, ditch the laser sights. One of the first steps to becoming a pro in Helldivers is ridding yourself of the training wheels. Yes, your laser sights. There are much greater perks out there, and don't worry, you'll learn to shoot just as accurately as everyone else in time. But seriously, save the laser sights for the recruits. Number 15, upgrade the basics. It's very easy to sink all your research points into your shiny new weapons or stratagems, but don't forget the basics. Stratagems like the reinforcement stratagem or the resupply are necessities on every mission. Saving just 5 seconds off the cooldown could be a difference between life or death, or in some cases even mission failure. This also goes for your pistol. Whenever you're carrying an objective or down on the ground, you'll need this weapon, so you want it performing at its maximum. Number 16, prone limits detection. When trying to stealth a mission, sometimes it's impossible to avoid an enemy patrol. This is where going prone may be a good idea. While you're prone, it's much more difficult for enemy patrols to detect you. This of course doesn't work if the enemy is already on high alert. Number 17, throwing stratagems with R2. This tip is specifically for PlayStation players. While the game does teach you to throw stratagems with L2, I highly recommend ignoring this. Instead, use R2. In the event you botch the input command, you won't accidentally toss one of your grenades at a teammate. Using R2 at most will only cost you a couple bullets. Number 18, flee in launch pads. One thing all the veterans have learned the hard way is that leaving the launch pads is a very bad idea. For the mission objective, activate and defend the launch pad, once you've activated the pad, you have to maintain visual contact. If the launch pad is out of visual range for too long, it will automatically self-destruct. Number 19, keep survivors close. This is the same as the last tip, except it's for the escort survivors objective. These 4 slow and completely defenseless little dudes need you to be in visual range at all times, which is difficult because you move at a much faster speed than them. Though if they are off the screen for too long, they will also die automatically. Number 20, experiment with stratagems. One of the greatest things about Helldivers is that there's multiple ways to tackle certain situations. For example, Hell Bombs are used to destroy the bug's nest, but you can also use Shredder missiles, Rex 6 demolishers, EAT 17 rockets, or even the cannon from your HAV. A creative mind can find multiple uses for a single stratagem, so experiment. Another good idea might be combining stratagems, like deploying a personal barrier in front of a turret to slow enemies before they can reach the turret. Number 21, experiment with your loadouts. Earlier I mentioned dropping the laser sights and moving on. This is just a continuation of that. It's very easy to get locked in preferred weapons and stratagems, so I recommend trying and testing out all the weapons and stratagems on different enemies. Some are best against a certain alien race, while some are only effective up to a certain difficulty, so experimentation is highly recommended. Number 22, downgrading. While I wish this wasn't true, once you've upgraded a weapon, you can't remove that upgrade. For the most part, I don't mind this, but this has led me to never fully upgrade my Justice Assault Rifle and Double Freedom Shotgun. The prerequisite for some upgrades is to have a previous upgrade. For example, the Double Freedom can fire incendiary rounds, but only after the sawn-off upgrade. I've always hated sawn-off weapons and I prefer the range over speed. And as such, I've never upgraded my Double Freedom. So think twice before attaching the bayonet to your favorite rifle, as I've noticed the melee is slightly slower, not something you want when you're fighting off a trio of bug scouts. Number 23, traversing with vehicles. You may recall that I said that some planets have environments that are much more difficult to traverse due to water or deep snow. One of the ways around this is to use vehicles as it does not affect them. You can also use the jump pack or even the all-new all-terrain boots perk included in the Terrain Specialist DLC pack. Number 24, failing objectives. Accomplishing every objective isn't always possible, and in some cases intentionally failing an objective may be a better idea. Put simply, use your own judgment and decide whether fighting for a single launch pad is worth gambling the success of the entire mission. But be sure to communicate this to your squad, as they won't take kindly to you turning tail. Number 25, stratagems while you're downed. When you're down, it isn't the end of the world. You can still bring up the stratagem menu and call in stratagems like the reinforcement. This also applies to exosuits. Every exosuit in mech is equipped with a shoulder-mounted stratagem launcher, so you can call in reinforcements, hell bombs, or even ammo drops for your teammates. And lastly, we have 26, the Dancing Queen. One of the easiest trophies you can accomplish in probably PlayStation history is Dancing Queen. Simply all you need to do is stand on the ship's bridge and do 25 K-spins without moving. Pretty simple, right? And well, that's all of it guys, 25 tips for Helldivers. I hope these help you in your future gaming sessions. Now if you do have any suggestions, edits, and or additional tips, I suggest dropping them down in the comment section below. There you can continue to help other Helldivers. In addition, if you have any questions, you can also drop them down there. And remember, you can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and PSN. Names are right there on screen, and as always, links are available in the description below.